I had taught school for about 20 years, and Joe was in business with an importing company. And we both were retired, and I thought we were going to get ready to travel and do all the wonderful things you do when you get your mobile home. And I was sitting on my deck one morning having coffee and reading my word, a meditation, and I heard in my spirit a radio station in Tuscaloosa. And I thought, radio station in Tuscaloosa. I left Tuscaloosa when I was 18 years old. Born in Tuscaloosa, grew up in Tuscaloosa, went 1 year to Stillman and left Tuscaloosa with no real intention of returning. And God is saying, and I knew it was God, saying radio station in Tuscaloosa. So the first thing I did, of course, was call Joe to see if I was still in my right mind. Immediately, he started confirming it and came up with a plan for doing it. But he had in mind doing it from Maryland, not having to move, sell the home, and move to Tuscaloosa. So God had another plan, and a year later, we were in Tuscaloosa. And how we got to this church is really, really profound move of God in our lives, because as a child growing up in Tuscaloosa, I walked past this church from where we live, past the train station down the tracks to downtown Tuscaloosa, many, many years. And this church was more or less like a blur. One day, we go into a store to make a purchase, and a lady invites us to come to this church. And I remember going into the Genesis class for the very first time. We both very apprehensive, Joe and I, and listening to Hiram Johnson teach us, and my spirit agreeing with his, and I'm giving him amens and accolades, agreeing with everything he was saying pretty much spiritually. And he said at the end of the class, he didn't see that response from Joe. So he made a point to go over to Joe, and he said to Joe, I believe you would rather be anyplace else other than here. And Joe didn't respond, but he was agreeing. And Hiram said to him, if you don't feel loved here, then we haven't done our job. And he gave Joe a big hug. And he and Joe have been hugging each other ever since. And so we have these comprehensions all along in our lives about what to do, how to do them, who's God and who's not God, where is God. But God is faithful. He's always faithful to lead us and show us what he wants us to do. You tell us to go on a mission. You send us to another place. We try to obey. You think you try to do everything God has asked you to do, and there are challenges. There are answers to questions needed that you don't have. Just in August this year, my oldest son, Harold, passed away. Harold had a massive heart attack, and I went to California expecting to see Harold walk again. I had to move from going expecting him to get out of bed, walk around, talk to me, to burying him. And I was told to call the elders of the church. Being a child of God, we call on God's people. And immediately, God went into action. The next thing I saw in the hospital were the elders from the church and the chaplain from the fire department of Los Angeles. And they took the plans for Harold's burial from A to Z out of my hands. I'm here trying to get over the fact that understand he's not coming back, God puts people in place to take the plans and expedite them. I received phone calls from people I didn't know who prayed daily with us. Money from the fire department poured in to pay for the burial. God uses people. He just places them strategically where we are to meet his needs in our lives at that time. That to me was a knowing that there is God and he is God all by himself.